Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we are going to be walking you through a little bit of 20mm galvanised conduit work. We're going to be doing a few bends, bubble sets, just taking you through the process. When I finished as an apprentice, I then went subbing to a company that done a lot of tube work, and it was literally the first time I'd done tube work, and it was difficult to get my head around at first, but over the years I've gained a lot of experience working with galv tube, which I think is always great, because even if you're doing a lot of domestic stuff like myself, you can always go back to the tube work and you sort of know what you're doing. So let's get into it. So the first bend we're going to do is a back-to-back 90 bend. So it could be a case that you've got one socket to go to and then you need to loop over to the next socket, or you've got a trunking run where you need to loop onto the ceiling and then down the wall, something like that. So we're going to take you through the process of doing a back-to-back 90 bend. This video is purely educational, so we just got to set up in this shipping container. We're going to go center of this column, and then we're going to go center of this column, and then it's going to loop up like that. So it'll be like a big U shape, center of each column. So we've got our bit of 20mm conduit, we've got our bender set up, we've got the 20mm former set up as well. So now what we're going to do, we're just going to form our first 90 bend in this, and then we move on to the next bit. So far we've bent the 90 into it, but as you can see, it's not quite there yet. So what we're going to do is just put a little bit more into it. I always feel that it's better to bend more into it because it's easier to take out than it is to put back in the vise, get it set up properly and things like that. So yeah, we've bent the 90, we're going to put a bit more into that. Probably yard one-handed. Get that. And then that is pretty much at our 90 stage. So with the first 90, we want to butt it up against something flat, square. As you can tell, it's a little bit overbent. So that's not a problem. What we can do is, as I said before, it's better to overbend it than underbend it, because we can just take that bend out just that little bit. Easy enough. So in terms of the back-to-back bend, the gap we have got, so I've just allowed about 10mm either side because we want center. So the gap we've got is about 46 centimeters to the back of both bends. So now we want to take that to our conduit, and what we're going to do is we're just going to get a spare bit of conduit, put it up against our 90 bend that we've already done, and then we're going to get our tape measure, and then what we're going to do is just mark it 46 centimeters. So that is where the back of the second bend is going to lie. And then what we have also done, so now we've got our mark of where we need to bend the opposite 90 bend. We're going to put it back into the bender, and then it was time to eye up the actual mark and where we need to get it bang on. So we get the level out and we get a scrap bit of conduit, and then we can eye this up to the mark that we have put onto our conduit. So using the scrap bit of conduit, we know if we line that up, that's sort of just going to mimic the second 90 bend. So as long as that is lined up perfectly and that scrap bit of conduit is level, we can start to bend and form our second 90 bend. The trick with this is that you just want to keep it nice and straight. So you've got to eye it up, keep it in line, and then also just keep double checking how far you're putting into that bend. Once you're happy with your 90 bend and it's nice and straight, you can take it out of the bender, and then you can eye it up to double check it is correct. So now we've formed both the 90s, we're just going to eye it up just to make sure it is perfectly straight. So we're going to put this one bang on that center of that column, and then this one bang on the center of that column, and they match up absolutely perfect. Okay, so now we've got our U-shaped bend. This is already bush and couplered, so to the same measurement we want to cut this. So what we're going to do is exactly the same. We're going to get our bit of tube, put that on top, and then we will measure each side off of this bit of tube to get exactly the same length. So 51, do that up. So 51.2. So that is the back-to-back bend, all done and dusted. Obviously, thread your end, put your coupler on there. unfortunately I forgot the bloody threader, so I can't show you that part, but maybe we do that in another part. So that was a little walkthrough of a back-to-back 90 bend. These are mostly used, I used to use them when I used to do the hospital jobs. It would be a runner trunk in, and then you would have to 90 bend off the trunk in and then down the wall the other side. So yeah, that's a little walkthrough. Hope you've enjoyed. Make sure you hit that follow button, subscribe, and hit that follow button, subscribe. I've done it again, lads. How many times have I done it? Hit that subscribe button, like, comment, share, help us out. It's much appreciated. And yeah, I'll try and get a few more walkthroughs, a few more tutorials of how to do certain things in the electrical industry.